Hey everybody, Sol here. I have only one rule here. If it's animated, I'll comment on it. And it's nice to be back after such a crazy month. Halloween's over and it's great to be back in my old room, safe and sound, without any craziness to deal with. Right? Anyway, we're gonna go back to the basics here on this show and take a look at a series that a lot of you have been screaming at me to review since the very beginning, namely, Adventure Time. I'm not gonna lie, I've been excited for this one for quite a while. Adventure Time is a 2D animated series created by Pendleton Ward that began life as a 7-minute animated short that went viral in 2007 before the series' full production began. The series is produced by Frederator Studios and Cartoon Network Studios, and it currently airs on Cartoon Network with a total of 7 seasons and 236 episodes. The show's producers have confirmed that the show will conclude in 2018, and a theatrical movie of the concept is also in production currently. Alright Finn, what do you say? You ready to review this beast of a show with me? Okay, how about you, Creepy Link? You ready to review the show with me? I need more friends. Okay, before I begin, I have to say that there is absolutely no way to review this show without spoiling anything. I won't be needlessly spoiling any details, but I must stress that this is not a spoiler-free review. Alright? Awesome. So then, when you break down the core premise of Adventure Time, there really isn't a whole lot to say. But as I always say, a simple story can be the most entertaining. So let's take a look at it, shall we? In the land of Oo, a young, courageous boy called Finn the Human and his magic dog Jake travel the land, having adventures, beating up bad guys, saving princesses, and generally just having a grand old time. Yeah, it really is that simple, but pretty soon it becomes apparent that this simple premise only accounts for about 20% of the actual show. The rest of the series does have a noticeable focus on linear stories, most of which are quite entertaining and manage to keep you invested. I know a lot of people find some of the stories full of, what's that word?
Feels. So many feels.
I can see where they're coming from, absolutely, but I still believe that even when the series is trying to tell serious stories and develop characters in a meaningful way, it never quite loses that imaginative spark it had from the very beginning. Off to a good start we are, and now let's take a look at the characters, and though I'd like to talk about all of them, there's so goddamn many that I'd never be able to get to them all. Hey Finn, look! I found Jake! He was chilling on the bathroom windowsill. That's a pig, not a dog. Well, maybe did you ever consider that he shapeshifted to look like a pig? You know, did you ever consider that? What did you say about my grandma? So I'm gonna have to be succinct here and talk only about the main cast of characters, because I value my time a little too much to talk about every single last character. The protagonist is Finn the Human, an adventurous, young, human, who gallivants around the land of Oo, beating up monsters, saving princesses, finding loot, and doing the things that adventurers do. Or at least, that's how Finn starts out. Over time, Finn begins to become involved in romances, a little too much if you ask me, and as he ages, he slowly begins to devolve into kind of a mess, to be honest. A broken mess of a person who has to deal with so much shit that you can't help but feel bad for him. That is, when he's not repressing his fears or exploiting the emotions of people he loves so he can have wet dreams. Yeah, regarding that, Finn is definitely a mixed bag of a character. While he may be more similar to Wander from Wander Over Yonder in the beginning, with his eagerness to help out peeps and his adventurous spirit, I have to admit that he's much less interesting as a character then. As he grows older and more terrible things happen to him, he develops a deeper personality, but sometimes comes off as being a complete asshole. I actually theorized a while back that Finn has borderline personality disorder, which would account for his behavior in the later seasons. I actually wrote a blog post about it on the official Adventure Time wiki, and if you want to check it out, it's still there, but keep in mind that it only goes partway through to season 6, and also I wrote it when I had way too much time on my hands. Moving on, we have the deuteragonist, Jake the dog, a magic dog who can shapeshift his body into all kinds of fantastic shapes and sizes. That is, when he's not gorging himself on various types of food or just being generally lazy. Funnily enough, Jake is probably the most consistent character throughout the whole show. He remains as an older brother figure for Finn and generally serves as his emotional support. Even when he has kids with his girlfriend Lady Rainicorn, he still doesn't really lose his adventuring spirit. Though I like Jake and think he's very funny most of the time, I have to say that sometimes he becomes a bit frustrating when he tries to be all existential. I'll be getting into that more in a little bit though, folks. Next up is Princess Bonnibel Bubblegum, ruler of the Candy Kingdom. Though Bubblegum starts out mostly as an intelligent, but generally underplayed supporter for Finn and Jake, she also gets a pretty noticeable change as the series progresses, as she slowly begins to become a bit of a cruel, unfeeling leader who is willing to do awful things to not only her candy subjects, but also everyone else in Ooh just for her own curiosity or protection. Still though, like the others, Bubblegum never really loses her original appeal, it's just that more layers get added on top. So yeah, I think Bubblegum is pretty alright overall. Following along is Marceline the Vampire Queen, a half-demon vampire who befriends Finn and Jake after taking their house away, and who is, as Finn puts it,
she's a radical dame who likes to play games.
Personally, I disagree with that statement, since Marceline actually comes off as more of a scorned teenager with daddy issues and may possibly have a thing for Princess Bubblegum, but don't take that as an insult. I like her change as well, since I found her depiction in the beginning as a mischievous game player pretty annoying, to be honest. I enjoy that her roots run deep into the show and its characters, so no real complaints over here. Lastly from the main cast is BMO, a sentient video game console who lives with Finn and Jake, who was programmed to be able to have fun. BMO acts like an energetic little boy, making up games and generally having an optimistic outlook on life. He clearly cares for Finn and Jake, but I find that BMO works best when he supports the other characters. When he gets into the spotlight, he can be a tad bothersome. Did I say I was going to be succinct? I did, but it's kinda hard to be succinct in a series like this, so let's just wrap this up by looking at the main villain, shall we? The main villain of the series is the Ice King, aka Simon Petrikov. The Ice King starts off as being a creepy old weirdo who rules the Ice Kingdom and who can't stop kidnapping princesses, though like the others, he changes drastically over time too, or more so his backstory changes, detailing why he's such a tragic character. The Ice King is probably the most interesting character in the show, and I have to concede that it was for the best to make him a sympathetic villain. Ice King doesn't want to take over the world or anything like that, he just wants to be loved and be happy. But due to his many years of insanity caused by the crown that gives him his ice powers, he can't seem to find a good way to do so. The truth about Ice King's story does make reflecting on his past actions more entertaining and meaningful, and I for one very much enjoy his story. Now, like I said, I don't have time to talk about every single last character in this series, because there's literally hundreds of them. I know I'm leaving out big ones like Tree Trunks, the Earl of Lemongrab, Lady Rainicorn, Flame Princess, Lumpy Space Princess, and of course the big bad guy, the Lich. But let's just say that all of them certainly have their ups and downs, and none of them I dislike. With the exception of Flame Princess. Okay, I knew that was inevitable. Look, I know a lot of you guys really like Flame Princess, and that's totally fine. I just personally don't care for it. Seriously, can you not handle a difference of opinion? Ow! Well, now that the rioting has calmed down a little bit, I guess I should continue with the review, right? But I mean, if this is how you guys react to me not liking Flame Princess, then how are you gonna react when I get to the bad things section? Well, anyway, the review must go on, so let's get started. One of the most noteworthy things this show offers is its ability to grow and mature like a well-kept vegetable garden. It's funny how a show that began with people getting turned into feet, talking mountains, zombie businessmen, and kicking giant ogres in the crotch could develop into something that could be, for lack of a better word, mature and somewhat complex. Now, there's a downside to this that I'll get into eventually, but it's a fact that this series' stories, characters, and scenarios all manage to be engaging and entertaining, especially the stories with Simon Petrikov and the Lich. While sometimes the story developments can be a little strange, I do feel that most of them are compelling in their own way, and signify an attempt by the creators to make something more impactful with their concept, especially when it starts to get dark. And I mean really dark at times. I seriously doubt it was planned that way from the beginning, but it's something I commend regardless. Also, the character interactions all feel very natural and believable, even during the more dramatic moments, which helps bring the world around them to life. And speaking of the world, I enjoy all the various types of areas the Land of Ooo has to offer, from the grasslands, to the Candy Kingdom, to the Slime Kingdom, to the Desert of Doom. The more the show goes on, the more the world expands, becoming much more varied and visually interesting. And while I'm on the subject, the overall design of the series is extremely appealing as well, with its deep, bright, eye-catching colors and the cute simplicity of the facial features on the characters. The whole series has a loose, sorta casual feel to it if you just want to watch it to relax and unwind. Not every episode, mind you, just the less story-focused ones, which is a good thing. It runs the full gamut of appeal, from if you're just looking for a good time to if you're looking for a deeply layered story. Or both, funnily enough. This series gives you the full package of enjoyment no matter what mood you're in, even if you're just scarfing down chicken McNuggets in your underwear on a Saturday evening. In addition, I like the musical aspect of the show. While the background music doesn't really have much to it, it mostly just serves its purpose, the songs the characters sing are, for the most part, catchy and fun, but they can also be sad, contemplative, or just plain weird. Basically, to put everything in shellnut, this is a series that has something for everyone, be they wee bab, grown adult, or
dying in a vat in the garage!
Those are honestly my favorite types of shows, ones that can be enjoyed from many different angles. It's nice to talk about a show like that, but let's move on to the bad things, and I hope none of what I say shatters your worldview or anything like that. So, yeah, alright, let's do this. Unwad your panties, lovers of Adventure Time. I don't have anything catastrophically huge to say here. I mentioned in the previous section that I enjoy how the series has the ability to develop stories and characters in a mature and intricate manner, but that unfortunately isn't a universal skill it has. There are quite a few episodes that try to be deep, meditative, and introspective, but they just end up being weird and incomprehensible. And before all you internet scholars crack your big comment-writing fingers and get out your virtual mortarboards in an attempt to explain to me why I'm a plebe who can't understand such multifaceted and highly intelligent storytelling, all I can say to you is
Shut up, man!
I don't really care what essays you could write at me. I don't enjoy when this series tries to be existential or profound. I mean, I really don't see the emotional depth in describing the actions of a rabbit, or having a journey through a weird cave while keeping your eyes closed. And I bet I'm not the only one who feels that way. I commend the creators for bringing depth to the characters and scenarios, but sometimes I feel like their creation might have its head stuck a little bit too far up its own ass. And though the majority of the episodes are entertaining to at least some degree, give or take a few, there are some that are just dull. These are the episodes that mostly involve the characters puttering around, doing something either strange or just generally not interesting. I realize that not every episode can be a veritable wellspring of awesomeness, but I still feel like some of the episodes are cop-outs, for lack of a better word. Also, I just want to briefly touch upon a smaller annoyance, and that's the sudden shift towards a focus on Finn's romantic partners. Those of you who know me and my show know that I'm not a sucker for romance at all. So when the series shifts its gears and directs most of its focus on Finn's relationship with Flame Princess and yada yada yada, I feel it becomes rather tedious. Not to mention the fan service can be a bit out of control at times, especially with the whole gender-bending episodes, which I still don't get and probably never will get the appeal of. Still though, nothing in this series ever made me feel like I should stop watching. It's very much an I'll just watch one more episode type show that lets you while away the hours in peace and contentment. So it's definitely doing its job, regardless of any criticism I can muster. Okay, managed to survive that section, so let's finish this up with a look at my least favorite and favorite episodes. Now, there were quite a few contenders for my least favorite episodes, so I'm just gonna do a big list of honorable mentions, since I haven't done that for a while. So, James Baxter the Horse, Sad Face, Gut Grinder, Loyalty to the King, Go With Me, Apple Thief, Up a Tree, Box Prince, Chips and Ice Cream, Mama Said, President Porpoise is Missing, and 5 Short Tables are all equally disliked in my heart. But the grand prize winner has to be Water Park Prank. In this guest animated episode, Finn, Jake, and Princess Bubblegum are going to a heretofore unknown water park, but Finn stops to help the also heretofore unknown Princess Banangatan, who has been infected with things called Daddy Sad Heads, which make you cry. First off, this is by far the stupidest premise out of all the episodes. It actually makes me, and I hate to use this word now, but it actually makes me cringe when I watch it. The animation and character designs are atrociously ugly too, and make my eye stomachs churn whenever I look at it. It's funny how this episode gets shoved right in the middle of 2 episodes that were actually furthering the story, but this one makes it grind to a halt. And that's not even the worst part. You know what is? This episode, unlike the other guest animated episodes like A Glitch is a Glitch, Food Chain, and Bad Jubies, this one is actually canon. Yeah, this episode sucks, and it drags the rest of the series down. So there was much less competition for my favorite episode. And not to say there aren't many great episodes in this series, there's just only really a few that really wowed me. So some of the honorable mentions are Mortal Folly, Power Animal, Blood Under the Skin, I Remember You, all 3 episodes in the Season 4 finale / Season 5's premiere storyline, Simon and Marcy, Wake Up, and The Tower. But my most favorite has to be Escape from the Citadel, and I cannot stress this enough, massive spoiler warning! Following a series of events that I won't detail here, Finn and Jake finally reach the Citadel, where all the universe's most dangerous cosmic criminals are held prisoner, where Finn's biological father is supposedly being imprisoned as well. I don't want to impart more than necessary here, since I'm sure I'll be flayed to the bone if I spoil more than I already have. So let's just say that I greatly enjoy this episode because not only is the presentation spectacular, but a lot of build-up gets payoff in this episode too. Not to mention it has what I consider to be one of the best scenes in the entire series, when Finn tries to stop his dad from escaping into space. From start to finish, this episode is something special, and I can't recommend it enough. Adventure Time certainly is a series that has its ups and downs, but I won't deny that it's done a great job at cementing itself in the hearts of its fans, young and old. Though it's far from perfect, I can wholeheartedly say that I greatly await the new episodes and can't wait to see what fun and feels they bring to the already prodigious table. I give Adventure Time. Three and a half eyes out of 5. So, Adventure Time. Is it watchable? Absolutely yes it is, with its bombastic use of color in its environments and its simplistic but memorable designs. Is it enjoyable? For the most part, yes, although there are a fair few episodes that, like I said, are frightfully dull. You'll know them when you see them, trust me. Is it memorable? Gee, I don't know! Why don't we go take a look at the internet, shall we? So, how many times does this show up on Rule 34, eh? Let's take a look. Well, it certainly looks like it's on people's minds. Want to stay up to date with all the latest EyeofSol news? You can follow me on Twitter as well as on Facebook at twitter.com/EyeofSol299 and facebook.com/EyeofSol. I update them every day, so if you want to check out news on the show as well as updates, just follow the links here. Hey everybody, thanks for watching my review of Adventure Time. This one was a long time coming, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, I would appreciate a like and a share of this episode, as well as a subscription to my channel, because I really appreciate that. If you want to check out the previous Sol episodes, you can see the annotations playing on the video right now. Or if you want to check out my various social media sites, you can see my links to my Twitter page and my Facebook page on the screen for you, as well as in the description. If you have an idea for an animated series or movie you want me to comment on, you can leave me a message in the YouTube comments on any one of my social media sites, or just let me know in any way you can think of to let me know what you want to see, and I will add it to my list. Okay? Thanks again for watching everybody, and I will see you next week for another movie review.